Hello and welcome to Mosport. This is our second visit to a track on the new DLC of circuits. We've got a Copa Classic race today, just Copa Classic Bs. We've got a full grid of 40. On 115 skill level, 120 was just too strong for me. On a 1.0 wet skill scaler with high aggression and standard mistakes. It's going to be a 25-minute race on custom date 22nd of September 2024, starting at 2 o'clock, most crucially with real weather. I don't know what's coming up. I can judge it by the clouds, and that's about all I've got to judge it on. We've got a standing start. We don't need to worry about a pit stop. And crucially as well, the circuit condition is going to be default progressing. So we haven't had practices. We are going to do qualifying, of which we've qualified 14th and well off the pace. So whatever condition we had in qualifying is pretty much how the track's going to feel going into the race. So, without further ado, let's get trackside and let's go racing. Ooh, that's some very grey skies. Maybe expect the unexpected in this race, I think. Oh, sweet. See if we can use a bit of a tow, get ourselves further up. Just keep latching onto the next car. And if we can hang it around the outside of that Fiat. Easy, easy. Oof. Being a bit too generous there in terms of giving space to the Fiat, but kind of better safe than sorry, I suppose. It cost us though. So if I can latch onto that red Puma, they are slower on the straights compared to the other cars around us. So it might just give us an opportunity to sort of drag up towards the group. But really, we're already racing with people I wasn't expecting to be racing. As in qualifying, these guys were just another league. I'm sorry if there's not a lot of talking, I've got my serious face on. Going, Andrew. Come on. Let's do a better job than this, Andrew. There's just, I've got nothing left. This is everything I've got. Easy, easy, come on. I've just had the rear sort of start to come away in the middle part of that double right. So pole position was a 41.0, 41.5 up there. That's the best time I've ever done around here, and it's because of the toe. My qualifying time was a 43.2, and that was done on my own, so that's how much difference the toe makes. It's a very fast circuit though. bit ambitious of me, that. Sorry, mate. Yep. There wasn't a gap there, really. Well, there was, but it was never going to stay there. You know, as the driver behind, I would have expected myself to recognise that it was going to disappear, and I was only going to put myself into trouble there. That is an awesome move for us. That's going to be very helpful. So now it's me and my brother against the Fiats, and it feels a little bit almost like a war. I think I don't even mind if I'm rear gunner now for my brother. I don't mind which one of us brings it home, as long as one of us does. So fast through there. All the AI are fast through there. It's quite a cool livery pack actually. So I downloaded it off of Overtake. Was it? Yeah. So it's called Overtake now, isn't it? I don't know. Can't keep up, but. Yeah, downloaded it off from what used to be Race Department, whatever it's called these days. The people that screwed up the stream for 1.6, so those guys. So we downloaded it from there. Yeah, it's a full pack for all of the cars. It's a lot of work. I'll put the link in the description because I think it's worthy of the link. Clearly a lot of work has gone into it, so I think they should get the benefit of having a link added. And there's some really cool looking liveries on there. I like it. Come on. I don't want to be under fire. Oh, the little Puma's getting involved now. Let's get that in there. It's so bumpy, this circuit. It's not as bumpy as Willow Springs, but it's one of the bumpier circuits. It's kind of a Long Beach, I'd say, level of bumpiness. It's nice though. It's a very flowing circuit, really nice layout, very old school. I like it. And even in a slower class like this, if you're watching it and not driving it, I dare say it probably looks slower than it feels when you're driving. You don't really feel like you've got time to sit around and play around with stuff. Dan's setting a really good pace. Fiat seem to have dropped off a little bit, but they'll be back, I think. I don't think we've got rid of them. just off Daniel's toe. Don't think we're going to benefit from it at all, which is a shame. So fast. I think we need to switch our attention from first to second place here, I think. Because of that. Lucky there, didn't I? That could have been a lot worse, that. Terrible lap for us. Let's get down to third for this. See if we can get us. We're really under fire, aren't we? I mean, I've read a lot about on the Racer forums. I've read a lot about how the AI is far too aggressive. They'll just punt you off. I've done it again. I've not seen it yet. They've raced fairly, with me at least. Anyway, I've had moments where I've gone off track after contact with AI. But I've not really ever felt like, oh, what? That's totally the AI's fault. There's always an element where I can sit back and go, yeah, I kind of made that happen myself. And I would say I've got the AI a bit too quick for me here. And that's been the general consensus, is that when the AI is set too high for your abilities, then they're going to be a bit more punty. But I can't really say I've noticed it. I think it depends on how you drive around them. I mean, look at that, look at that, so much faster. But yet, you know, it was clean. Stick it up the inside here, see what happens. Racing room given. I mean, what more could you ask for, really? Again, racing room given. I mean, that's raced me better there than I'd say 75% of humans would have raced me. More fairly. It didn't get barged out of the way, it wasn't bullied out of the way, it just gave racing room. Yeah, I can't really complain about that. See if we get any more. I dare say that's not going to be the last we're going to see of him. I think we've seen the last of Daniel though, looking at that. Here they come. Now I'm not sure if they're just really strong around this part of the track or if I'm really weak or a bit of both. Not really sure, but yeah, I'm getting absolutely murdered around that first part of the lap. And in this part of the lap we're more even Stevens. And I'd say slightly in favour of me in some places, but not others. I've done it again. Just trying too hard. Like I say, I don't really think we really belong in this position. I think we should be 7th or 8th, I reckon. Really, I think we had a good first few laps that got us in this position, and now I'm having to overreach, and you're seeing the results of that in that double right, because it's always on a knife edge through there. What this car needs is a clutched differential. That's what it needs. That's what I want. If I had that, oh, so many issues would be resolved. I reckon it'd be a fair bit quicker as well with a clutch diff. They're going around both sides of me. Oh. What can we do? It's been good racing though, hasn't it? And I've not really seen anything, I've not seen any silly manoeuvres yet. Everything's been fair. The only downside is that Daniel's, what, 5-6 seconds up the road, looking at that. That's the only downside. But then, yeah, that shows how much quicker they are than me. I mean, that's where they would be. They would be up there as well, racing him, if it wasn't for me getting in their way and ruining their races. Last lap. It's difficult to know which mirror to look in. in line this time. Sweet. Well, at least we played our part in a mini victory, at least. Awesome. Oh, not the result I'd wanted, but as a team, because in my head I pretend that Dan and I race for the same team. Yeah, as a result for the team, that's awesome. We've got another 1-2. So we had a 1-2 at Road Atlanta, and we've got a 1-2 here as well. And he was getting hounded before I managed to squeeze in between him and the others. So give him a little thumbs up. Yeah, he was getting hounded before the others, by the others before I turned up. So to then come along and essentially not be able to fight him because I just didn't have the pace for it. Had I had the pace, I'd have definitely done it, but I didn't have the pace, so yeah. And then me ballsing up this corner 3 laps, I think it was. I balls that corner up 3 laps out of 16. It's not a good look, is it? Yeah, that's it just gave him the gap. So yeah, fantastic. Right, let's have a look at the times, and yeah, we'll then get into it after that. So skip. Cool down lap, fantastic. Right, so we were nearly 7 seconds down in the end. Look at that, 7 seconds in 15 laps, nearly half a second a lap. Christ! But look, that shows how much difference the toe makes. Dan's best lap, because he never had a toe, did he, Daniel? His genuine pace is a 42.0. Mine was. My fastest lap was a 41.5, but my actual pace I'd say was about a 42.6, 42.5, 42.6, I would say. And then look at these guys, though. Just, yeah, relentless. But brilliant racing, fantastic racing. Right, let's get into the replay, and we'll get stuck into the detail of it there, shall we? We'll see you in a second. I never expected to be fighting for the podium in that race at all. After the qualifying we had, qualifying 14th, and literally over a second off the pace, to be fighting for the podium places, I think is really, really cool. I don't know if it means that there's a discrepancy between the AI's qualifying and race abilities or not. There might be something there to look at. I'm not really sure. Whoops, bit of a slide there. But yeah, we had a really good first few laps, but we had to bridge the gap on a couple of occasions between a couple of groups, and we were able to do that. So had there been had the qualifying pace carried into the race, I don't think I'd have been able to do it. So yeah, it's a little bit odd, but I mean, I chucked everything in that qualifying lap. I even reduced the fuel and everything to just try and get things working well, and yeah, I was just nowhere.com. I've got to say though, I thought the AI raced really, really well. I'm not seeing the things that are reported on the forum. People are complaining about the AI being far too aggressive and basically being a little bit punty, really. They're just basically knocking people off the circuit, from what I'm reading. Now, I only race in a few classes, and they're all slower classes. Maybe there's something to it in that, I'm not really sure. But I'm not seeing the things that are being reported. And if anything, I think what I have seen is that the AI is much improved over 1.5. There's no doubt about that, for me at least. The way that it races, the the way that it holds itself on the circuit is far stronger than it used to be. You used to be able to manipulate their position on the circuit to pretty much whatever you wanted, and now you can't. They're much more robust and much more screw you, pal. This is my spot. You earn it. You go round, more than what they used to be. So I'm really pleased with the racing that it's producing for me. And it doesn't even, it's still, it's much more human-like, but it's still a little bit too respectful, maybe. It's a bit too, I mean, it's great for these sort of classes, because these classes are kind of Clubman style races, and I think you would get that sort of racing in these classes. You'd probably get the odd complete donut in there that will take someone out because they're not in full control of their car. But generally speaking, I think they would do what they could to avoid people, and I think that's pretty much how this AI behaves. I would say it behaves like a Clubman series style driver, the sort of driver that's got to pay for their own damage, and would probably offer to pay for somebody else's damage that they've caused. That is how I would describe how it races, and it's a very nice way to go racing, and I really enjoy it. So we got to this point in the race, and I didn't have the pace to catch Daniel. There was nothing I was going to do about Daniel, and I kind of realised quite early on, even before I mentioned it, that I was going to be racing for second. That it kind of dawned on me long before that. So it was all about just trying to either break the Unos and that last Puma, or just fight it out. And in the end, we had to fight it out until the very last lap, but we did actually have a bit of a gap. But yeah, I mean, the car felt alright. I was struggling in this double right here. 3 times I completely messed it up. And the rear of the car is on such a knife edge in the middle part, because you're on the brakes for the first bit. The car compresses into the dip. You turn into the first apex, and then the car kind of gets light, and the rear of the car starts to move on the brakes, and you kind of got to come off the brakes and then get back on them again. And then when you do that, it's very difficult to balance it. It's very much on a knife edge to balance it, and I just got it wrong a few times, and it really, I mean, this K&N Uno here was a right thorn in my side through there, and we got lucky on 2 of the 3 occasions that I messed it up. Yeah, it was, but it was always good, fair racing. I'm very happy with it. I would just like to point out as well the Team Penske Mark Donohue inspired livery. So I always knew about Mark Donohue, but I didn't really know much about him. And I read his book called The Unfair Advantage a little while back, and I really enjoyed the book. If you ever get the chance to read it, give it a read. It's a great book to read. And off the back of that book, I became a little bit of a fan of him. And if you don't know who he is, he's a driver from the 60s, and he worked with Roger Penske in these very early days, and he engineered like the Trans Am cars, the Camaros and the Javelins, and he did loads of Formula cars and did Can-Am with the Porsches. There's an example there of that K&N going for the grass, but didn't take anybody out though. Anyway, so yeah, Mark Donohue, engineer, driver, very cool guy by the sound of it. Very hard working, a good role model for anyone who's looking for one. Yeah, I just wanted to do a livery. I think it's turned out alright. I quite like it. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it really. There is just one last thing. So videos might be a little bit sparse in the near future. I'm trying to find a format with this car that allows me to do more endurance races, but the problem I've got is that the Mini has a 26 litre fuel capacity, and the other cars have got either 41 or 51 litres, and the other cars can do an hour on a stint of fuel, and the Mini can only do 30 minutes, which makes it almost impossible to become competitive in the Mini. So without turning fuel off, I'm trying to figure out a way of doing it without having to resort to doing that. But we'll see how it goes. But so I'm going to be doing a lot of experimentation, so there might not be many videos coming out in the near future, but I'm working behind the scenes to try and find a format that works, that produces great racing, that allows me to use probably my new favourite car, and produce some good night racing, as in day, night, day transitional racing. So yeah, hopefully good things to look forward to, but there's a little bit of work to do to finalise the details. So, thank you very, very much for watching. If you liked what you've seen, please consider liking and subscribing, and until the next time, we'll see you later.